Alright, hello everyone. So there's some F2P thoughts about Black Dwarf. Unfortunately for some of us, Black Dwarf is going to be swapped with Shamane. So if you've already been pulling for Tooth Fairy and Jessica, both of which are really powerful characters, then Black Dwarf appearing immediately after Jessica and also being very powerful as a mineral hyper carry, then you're going to have a bad time because there's basically no cooldown period for you. There's no time that Shamani banner was supposed to give to you. But if you were going to save up for Shamani anyway or Kanjira just to synergize with your Jessica, then you can be happy because you are getting your Black Dwarf skip banner first. So the problem with Black Dwarf, besides the banner skip, right, is that Jiu Niang Zi was also announced in 1.6, and she is going to run for the entirety of the 1.6, and she's going to be our first limited banner. She's going to run concurrently with Ge Tian, which I still don't know what he does yet. I'm waiting for translation. So yeah, Jiu Niang Zi, very powerful character. If we just look at tier list alone, Priven slaps her into S+. This is the first time they've added the S+, and the global tier list just slaps her all the way up here as a very strong single target damage dealer. The reason being is that she has incredible synergy with 37 and 6, both of which will appear in 1.4. And these characters, right, the reason why they love her so much is because 37 loves follow-up attacks. Because the more follow-up attacks you give her, the more damage she's going to do with her Genesis damage passive. And Jiu Niang Zi has a skill that straight up just gives you follow-up attacks every time you drink alcohol. And she will generate alcohol based on the buffs on her allies. And 6 also does that with Eureka. As long as your allies have buffs, then he also gains Eureka. And 6 also passively gives himself buffs, and he also has some buff shenanigans with his skills. And then Jiu Niang Zi also has some buff shenanigans with her own skills. And she gains alcohol from buffs. So these buffers and follow-up lovers are just like the perfect team to just slap together. And you can also run her crit. She's apparently has very high crit stats, and so Tooth Fairy can also just be slapped in there. And Tooth Fairy also doesn't take too many actions from the rest of these guys, so you can just feed all the actions to them, and they'll do crazy amounts of stuff. So the team com is really good. Of course, Pickles is here because, you know, Pickle can just give a plus damage buff to Jiu Niang Zi, and also just gives more AP to them if you wanted to do that. So just amazing synergy character, very powerful. So the real question is, right, do I pull for Black Dwarf knowing that this mineral DPS is going to be coming out in the future in 1.6, and the fact that she's also limited is going to be quite annoying, right? The thing is, I did the math, right, and you probably can do that. So let's talk about people who don't have a 6-star DPS for mineral side. If you cannot wait, Black Dwarf is still going to be really strong. If you look at the tier list again, overall, Black Dwarf is still going to be in the S tier for Pridwen side. 1.3 still S, 1.6 still S. Basically, as long as the enemy is weak to mineral, Black Dwarf will always be dead. If we look at the global tier list, it's still going to be always in the tier 0. She just needs specifically, right, a lot of actions, because she is very similar to Melania's design. Melania wants a lot of actions so that she can do a lot of damage. Here, for Black Dwarf, Pickles is one of her best friends because you want to give as much actions as possible, as well as give her more damage dealt so she can output a lot. She is a mental damage dealer. She also has very high crit stats, and you just want to give her as many actions as possible so she can do the Melania thing. Just give her all the actions so she can cycle her ults. Right. So more specifically, right, how she works is that you'll be using this planet mechanic. When you use your ult, you will remove planets, and then you deal a big nuke, and you gain 2 full moons, which gives you incantation might just by holding them. And only up to 3 planets can be carried at all times, unless you get Portrays. Enchanted Strike is a very simple skill actually. One hit, 180%. After active casting, it gives you 1 Saturn, that gives you penetration rate, it gives you more Saturns at higher levels. And then for Mythical Meteors, it's a mass attack. Very simple move also. After active casting, you gain Mars. That grants you leech rate plus 6%. Up to 3 planets can be carried, blah. So AoE, single target, and single target nuke. You get Full Moon from your ult, you get Saturn from Enchanted Strike, which gives you pen, and you get Mars, which gives you leech rate on your Mythical Meteors. You don't actually need a huge brain to play this character. She's actually very simple once you understand. So if you need more damage, you can actually just try not to stack planets for Mars, so that you can get more pen rate, so that when you use your ult to remove your Saturns, your penetration rate, you will get a fat 12% penetration buff by removing them using your ult. Furthermore, when you use your ult, you also gain an effect based on the planet with the largest number removed. When you remove Saturn, depending on the number you have, you will immediately cast 1 or 2 or 3, depending on how many planets you have, Star, Enchanted Strike for a follow-up attack on the target. So that is a lot of damage. You hit them with a 600%, then you hit them with the Saturn 3-star, for example, and you can do quite a lot of single target. If you need AoE, then you ult, you target one person, you stack up Mars, and then you ult, and then your ult will be followed up with a max level Mythical Meteors, for example, and then that is a lot of AoE damage. And then the last one is removing your full moon. So what happens when you ult, you get 2 full moons and then you ult again afterwards so that you dump your full moons. What happens is that the caster enters Empower Incantation 2. Empower Incantation 2 gives you 2 random incantations, gain +1 star. Very, very powerful, because when you get more stars, you get more planets and you also get more damage scaling. So this character, right, uses her ult not to buff her ult damage like Melania. It uses the ult to get value from the extra follow-up attack, or to get Empower Incantation so you get more damage output, and so that you can stack up more penetration rate or leech rate depending on what you need. So this character really, really powerful, and like all other 1.3 characters onwards, your portrays are also insane. So there's this thing in Reverse 1999 right now, where basically every subsequent character, right, just has crazier and crazier portrays that makes them really, really strong, and makes it so that you might want to pull for these portrays, but as F2P, you just don't really care too much. But her portrays are really strong. At number 1, you get 4 planets instead of 3. It might seem small, but 4 is a lot, because remember, when you hold one of these planets, right, you get a stat buff. So you get more penetration, means more ignoring enemy defenses. You can hold more of the full moons, which gives you more incantation might, which actually is what the P2 does. The P2 gives you 3 full moons instead. And if you use your ult while holding 3 full moons, then you gain Empower Incantation 2 for 3 rounds. And, well, I already told you why it's so strong, right? Because if you get it for 3 rounds, then that's 3 rounds of getting even higher star level cards. So you can get your 3-star Enchanted Strike, you can get your 3-star Mythical Meteors, and then just straight up gives you 3 of the Mars, and then you can use 1 more to get more pen, for example. Like, it's just crazy. It's actually crazy how much versatility the first 2 portrays already give you. And then after that, the rest is straight up just more stats for holding onto Saturn, more damage scaling, then more stats for holding onto Mars, more damage scaling, and then gain 4 full moon instead with your ult. So straight up, your 4 planets here, you replace all of that with 4 full moons instead of 3. And then you gain Incantation Might +9, increased scaling. So really, really powerful portrays. And then furthermore, like if you look at Shamane's one, is also going to get crazy. You get the P2 or P5, you have a DPS Shamane. He can just ult like crazy. So there's a lot of crazy shit going on with the portrays, but F2Pers don't care. If you can still clear your P0s, I consider it already very, very good. So, what to do? Well, with 1.3 coming out, you have 1.4, 1.5, and 1.6 to save up for Jiu Niang Zi. And besides that, right, all the tier lists pretty much agree that Black Dwarf is still going to remain a tier 0 character until that point. So, do you still go and pull for her if you don't have Eternity, for example? The answer is probably still yes. Let me move on to my Excel sheet here. Alright, so I did a few calcs based on the Reverse 1999 savings guide. Pretty much, okay, wait, this black is too black for me. Hold on, let me lower it down. Alright, something like that. Okay, so yeah. Basically, I looked at the Reverse 1999 savings guide and did some rough estimation on what your pools would look like once you get to 1.6. So first off, 1.6, right? They're very nice apparently. They give you 10 pools specifically for Jiu Niang Zi's banner. So it's a free 10 pool. I think Arknights did this also. Arknights just gives you free pools on the limited banner. And then you also get 20 pools for you to do whatever you want. You can pull on this banner, you can save for Gertian, you can pull on Jiu Niang Zi's banner or whatever. Yeah, you can just use that 20 pools whatever you want. So straight up 30, add to the pocket for the Jiu Niang Zi banner. And then after that, we have our full dailies, weeklies, monthly login, full limbo, monthly shop unit log buys. You will be able to get 34 every month, and until 1.6, you have about 4 months. So this is a lowball estimate because it's actually about 4.2-ish months to get there, and you also have the 1.6 months to just go and save up, you know. So this is still a low ball. I just slapped it as 4, so you get about 136 pulls. And then Raw Jukebox, the free battle pass, that will give you 2 every month. So we'll get 8 until 1.6, and then after that 1.3 gives you 34. 1.4 event also gives you 49.5. The reason why is because you get a chapter 5 story, so you get to full clear your story, and then you get a few more pulls. Then 1.5 event will hit, and that gives you another 35 pulls. So altogether, you have 293 pulls, and this is the low ball estimate. If you add even like a little bit of extra stuff, like let's say you bought 1 battle pass, let's say you have your savings from your previous Jessica and 2 fairy pulls, you can also add that here. This is assuming you do not have any savings. I only have 1,000, so I would add like 6 pulls to this thing, so I would have like 299 pulls by the time we get here. Yep. So we actually have quite a lot of time to save. Of course, this is not including like if you want to pull 6, for example. Then if you do pull 6, then there's going to be another 140 pulls to guarantee your 6. If you want to pull 37, maybe another 140 pulls to pull your 37, and then your Jiu Niang Zi is just gone. So you have to be a little bit careful here. But if you were going to get like Black Dwarf right now, maybe just go until the first PT, which is around, I think, 60 pulls for the first PT. 60, then you'll be able to, you know, go and try again for 6 like this. Then try again for 37 like this. You actually still have enough, because the hard PT for Jiu Niang Zi, right, is actually 140. But the thing is, you might miss out on the Jiu Niang Zi banner special, which is when you pull 60 more times, you'll be able to get yourself a second copy of Jiu Niang Zi, which gives you Portray 1 Jiu Niang Zi. That one, the problem with these things, right, where they give you a Portray instead, is that most of the time you don't need it, but it's probably really strong to get it, right? But the thing is, I'm a collector type player, so if you were to ask me whether I think a Portray is worth pulling 60 more times, I would say no. Because remember, 60 pulls, right? It's basically soft pity for another banner, so I could try again for 50-50. So it's really very greedy to try for another Jiu Niang Zi Portray, even though it is basically guaranteed after you hit the 140, I think. Yeah, so with that in mind, right, I'll leave this choice up to you. If you're a Portray hunter, then feel free to go for it. But personally, if you're F2P, right, or you just don't care about the Portrays like me, then just get the first Jiu Niang Zi and then peace out. If you get her earlier, even better. You get to save your pulls for other banners as well. So yeah, generally, we are actually quite okay. You can try for your Black Dwarf now, and then you can also try for your 6 later. You can try for your 37 later. That's about, what, 180 pulls. Then you can do, what, 300 minus 180, and that's about 120. 120 pulls and then you just squeeze out a little bit more pulls from the patch 1.6 itself, and that should be it for your Jiu Niang Zi. Because remember, Jiu Niang Zi is going to run for the entirety of 1.6. So it's not like our regular debut banners where it's like only for 21 days. It's going to be the entirety of the 1.6 patch. So it's not going to be 21. It's going to be more than 21. Yep. So that is my calculation so far. If I messed up, feel free to let me know so I can change it. But essentially, what I'm trying to say is that pulling for Black Dwarf is totally viable if you do not already have like a 6-star DPS. For me, I already have Eternity, so I slapped my Black Dwarf into the I really want but probably don't need category. And Jiu Niang Zi immediately skyrocketed to the I need category, because first off, she's cute, great synergy with all the characters that I also want, like 6, 37. I would like to get her, but a bit greedy, so I'm gonna just skip this banner, full save until 6, get 6, and then after that try for Jiu Niang Zi. And with my calculations, I should be able to guarantee 6 and guarantee Jiu Niang Zi if I just start saving now. Right, so after all that said, right, ultimately this game is still a PvE gacha game. If you really want a specific character, do not let the meta stop you from getting that character. If you really want Spatodia, for example, because you really like the concept of burn and stuff, then go and get her. If you like 37 because she's, you know, going to be good synergy with Jiu Niang Zi, or you just like her design a lot because a lot of people love 37's design, then you just go ahead and get her. Like, who's going to stop you? No one. You are the player. You are the one paying the money, or you are the one saving up the pools for these characters. So don't let anyone stop you. What I'm just recommending here is just that if you don't have your mineral DPS, you could make your life easier by pulling your Black Dwarf now. Or if you really want more portrays for your Jiu Niang Zi because she's your #1 waifu, then feel free to skip everyone all the way until Jiu Niang Zi so that you can guarantee as many portrays as possible. That's also viable. Just do whatever you want, really. Yep. So that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. feel free to leave any comments about what I did wrong or whatever. Then I can go and change that in the future. Right. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.